super excited to be here for part 3 of how I dive in with you to talk about how, as a new author, how I became three number one best-selling author. If you haven't heard part 1 or part 2, please go back and listen. I'm so excited because I promise you I will be pulling back the curtains and I will be sharing with you all my strategy, all my system of how of how the book, The Challenge Code, was able to go to number 1 on Amazon in all 3 categories, beating Gary Vee, beating Russell Brunson, and be able to beat them out to be number 1 in web marketing, number 1 in business insurance, number 1 in strategy and competition, and number 4 top new releases in 4 categories. And I'm just so excited. And I don't gatekeep. I share all the goods. I share all the gem. And I also share this strategy inside the book. So go to thechallengecode.com to get all the good stuff of how this book, the strategy is inside of the book. So again, go to thechallengecode.com. So today is all about all the things that I did not talk about in part 1. Part 1 was all about the mindset and how the book came to be. Part 2 was the process of the marketing. And then part 3 was all of the limiting belief that I want to touch on that really came up for me and the results of what happened. So just to let you go back a little bit, when I recorded part 2, you guys didn't understand. When I recorded part 2, I did not know I was a best-selling author. I recorded part 2 that Monday before the book launched. The book launched on May 2nd, and that was a Friday. So that Monday before the book launch, I recorded part 2. So we did not know. So my friend Dan, who is also produced my podcast at Vibe Creation, shout out to them. He was, after I recorded the book, he said to me, he said, Sherry, so you promised them that you were going to be raw and candid about your results. So whether you hit best-selling author or not, you were going to be raw and candid and tell the truth about what happened. I was like, yep, I'm going to tell the truth. Let them know what really took place. Did I hit it or did I not? And that's what people need in this season. There are so many people that are faking it till you're making it. And there's nobody really sharing the behind the scenes of what really raw and candid look like. So I was kind of like, yeah, I said I would. So I have to come out there and share my experience and walk them through everything that's going on. I already had shared my marketing strategy. So when I just want to let you know, part 2 of this session of me revealing how I became a best-selling author or not, I didn't know yet. But now I know, and I'm in part 3, and I'm excited to let you know that I did not just hit best-selling author, but number 1 in all 3 categories. And I'm just so excited to share this occasion with you. God is good. I give all honor to him. And let's talk about how it happened. Let's talk about how it happened. I'm still like in awe about it. And I'm still like in just like, I want to, in this podcast, I want to talk about hidden best-selling author, how that happened, but I also want to talk about the lessons and principles that I take away from this, because when you understand the lessons and principles I take away from it, I want you to have those same lessons and principles as well. So it's going to be raw, it's going to be candid, just like the other 3 have been, because there's no script. As you can tell, there's no script, and I just want to kind of dive in because I know this may be one of the best podcasts I ever recorded. Because it's not about just giving step-by-step strategy. It's just you getting in my brain and see how my brain think. I was listening to this podcast the other day, and the lady was talking about how she spent $50,000 in coaching program, and she bought everything that the coach bought. You bought all the CRM that the coach she used all the CRM. She used everything, the landing pages, everything that the coach did, but she did not see the result that the coach had. And one of the things that she said she did not see the coach results is because she said she knew that she didn't see it because she didn't think the way the coach think when it comes to results, when it comes to money. And she knew that's what was missing. That was the gap of what was missing. Hear me clearly. A lot of people want to duplicate what you do, or you want to duplicate somebody else's success. But if you don't understand the mindset behind how the person think when they were doing the thing, you will not achieve the results of what that person have. it require you to think the same way that person think, in the manner of how they think. So if you're having a limiting belief while doing a strategy, even in that book, and not knowing how I was thinking when doing that strategy, you will not get that results. And people miss that idea all the time. They want to know your step-by-step process, but they're missing the main point. How were you feeling? What were you thinking in this space? Because the thinking is what breathe the action, and the action is what breathe the results. So that's why it's so important that when you are following someone or when you're being coached by someone, you got to understand what was going on in their mind in the process of it. I work with a social media manager, and sometimes he sent things to me and I'm like, why are you sending me this? What is your mindset behind the way you're thinking about this? So I want to also help talk with you two about this as well, so you can get in my mind, get in my head of how I'm thinking. So if you decided that you want to launch your next challenge, and if you want to drive traffic to your business, if you want to be able to convert sale, if you want to be able to use your voice as a strategy, you can do all of that. All of that is inside of the book. Go to thechallengecode.com to get it. But you also need to know how I think, on what my mindset is, so you too can be able to launch that successful challenge and be able to make money from that challenge as well. If I'm going to tell you that I know about using my voice as a strategy, and I'm able to hit best-selling author and beating these top names marketer in their industry, that means I know something about marketing, right? So, all right. So let me dive in about how my mindset was and everything that goes along with it. Okay, so in part 2, we talk about the process and the marketing secrets of what happened. In this part, let me touch on, right after I got done with part 2 of our podcast. I'm picking up where we left off, and I recorded with Dan, and he's like, "You have to now reveal, because you say you would, the outcome." So even though I said to him, "Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all," the little enemy of my thoughts, that's what I call him, was kind of saying, "Oh my goodness, what if you don't hit bestseller author? What if, what if that doesn't happen?" So I left the podcast, recorded, and I left and I went home. And I was just kind of prepping for what's next. I was prepping because that was a Monday. So now I was kind of making sure my emails are up and ready for when we drop the book. All the things go in my mind because I've never launched a book. I don't know how the process is. As I said, I work with Michaela. She's an amazing book coach, and she was kind of walking me through the process. Not to mention, I had a book release party. I had a book sign-in. So having that book sign-in, the idea behind that was to celebrate those amazing people who has helped me on my space. I'm going to go ahead and put my phone on do not disturb. So had those amazing people who have helped me during the process of launching that book. I want to celebrate them. I wanted them to be with me in the day I launched that book. So I invited a private people to my book release so we can celebrate together. Now, so that was the purpose of having that book launch on the day of my book. And I would highly recommend you do that too as well. So here come the book launch day. And when in the book launch day, prior to having that day, let me reverse a little because this is important. Now I want to set the scene for you, because in launching this book, my assistant Jasmine, she had a death in her family. Her brother passed away. So I was writing solo with, not necessarily solo, but with Larissa and I. Larissa is my assistant. So Jasmine was busy dealing with the funeral with her family. So I have a small team, right? Because I'm always teaching you that you can be successful regardless of, it doesn't take a big team. It doesn't take a big followers. It doesn't take all that stuff. But that's what I thought. I'm going to tell you, that's where my limiting belief went, because when Michaela talked about, hey, what do you think about going for best-selling author? The first thing came to my mind is I don't have a big team to help me become best-selling author, because when you become best-selling author, the first thing in my mind is, she told me that it requires you to have a certain amount of sales. And I said, I don't know if I can make all those sales because I don't have a big team enough to push me to have those sales. So that's how my limited belief was. I don't have a big team. I don't have a big following. So I don't think I can have the requirement of the amount of sales that it takes, I don't think I can do that. So those are two. And then number three, the requirement of how many sales are required to have in those categories, I don't think I can do it. The other thing too is I was launching on a Friday. So here again, I'm like, Fridays to launch a book on a Friday where everybody is not thinking about book launch, they're thinking about other things but Sherry. So that's number four. So all those things are stacked against me. My team is not available. So all of those things are stacking against me. So I'm like, how can I become a best-selling author when I have all those things against me? That's how my small-minded mind is thinking. But so I was up against all those challenges. I was up against all those things. But even though I was up against all those things, as I said in part 2, I was still willing to go and do it. Not try, do it. Because if you're doing it, you're not trying, you're actually doing it. I'm not trying, I'm actually doing it. So I did it. And so I did it. Even though that's in the back of my mind, I was still taking action. So I have those things where like my email list is not a big email list. My Facebook group or my Instagram followers is not that big. You know, Facebook is a pay to play table that not everybody see your following. Not everybody see your post. So in that space, I said, okay, what do I need to do? So my game plan and in my thinking is I need to just let everybody know, and don't be shy. Don't be a secret agent. Let everyone know that I have a book coming out. So in my everyday life, whether I'm posting on social media, whether I'm going somewhere, whether I run into somebody at the bank, I was just letting everybody know that I have something going on from Monday through that Friday. Because part 2 took you all the way behind the scenes, all the way up till Monday prior to the book launches. So I'm talking to you from Monday all the way to Friday. So I have my email list going out in systems. That's taking care of it. At this time, I'm running no ads. There's no ads running. I did not start running ads until May 2nd, the day of when the book launched. I did not run any ads. So even those adversities are against me, all those challenges are against me of not having my staff with me because Jasmine was out, and not having a big team, not having a big following. Because when you hear of these people hitting best-selling author, you also can say, oh, well, they have a big team, they have a big following, they have a big budget. So all of this, you say, okay, they're bigger than you. So of course, these Russell Brunsons, these, all Grant Cardones, of course they're going to make best-selling author because they have all these, a big team. They have a big, rich relationships, so, and I don't have, little old me don't have that, right? This is how I was thinking. I was playing so small in my mind. And then I'm launching on a Friday. So, normally when people say launch, it's good to launch like on a Wednesday or a Thursday, even a Tuesday would be better. But the event location that I want to launch at, I want to have the party at, they weren't available till Friday. So I had to do what a girl had to do what a girl had to do. So we launched on a Friday because that's when the location was available. And we didn't want to do all this big decorating when it comes to the event. So we just kind of did something small. My husband and I just did something small. But that's much with the decoration. So as I have all these things that's stacking against me, even though they're there, I created a plan of action. Now, let me just say this. I went on to ChatGPT and I asked ChatGPT to deliver a marketing strategy to get the word out about my book, that my book is launching. And let me say this, because this whole podcast today is about what is my mindset when I was delivering these action plans when becoming a best-selling author. That's what it's all about. And when I did that, when ChatGPT gave me all this action plan, I follow every single thing to a T. So it would say, post this, email this. And in your mind is saying, oh, don't do that. Oh, you don't have to do that today. That's too much. But in my mind, I'm like, even though it's saying that, I'm like, I'm going to follow it to a T. Action over emotions. Action over emotions. That's what my mind kept telling me. Actions over emotions. My mind kept saying that to me over and over. Actions over emotions. Actions over emotions. It just kept saying that over and over. So every time I feel as if I'm not going to do this next step ChatGPT told me to do, my mind kept saying action over emotions. There are plenty of times that ChatGPT give you an action and your mind, and you're like, I'll wait. I'm going to do it later. I don't have to do that. Let me skip to something that I want to do. But for me, I had to take action over emotions, because at the end of that, I want to be able to say I did everything. I want to be able to say that I did everything in my power that I knew how to do. So when I make it, or if not I make it, I know I did everything on my part. So I followed every single step that ChatGPT told me to do to the best of my ability. Now, was it done perfect? Maybe not. But everything, if he told me to send out this email, I send out this email. If it told me to post this, I post this. If I didn't know how to do it, I asked for clarifications, right? And I think that's where sometimes we go wrong, where I think where we're talking about, if ChatGPT can give us everything that we need, why do we need coaching? This is the part where we need coaching. You need a community of people that can cheer you on as you're doing this. And you also need that support system that validate what ChatGPT says. Because there are times when they would tell me to do something, then I would call one of my girlfriends who was in the book space, and I would say, hey, this is what I'm doing. How can you elaborate to make it better? Because ChatGPT is giving me words on a screen. But by talking to her, she validated it and probably putting her other piece in there to make it even better for me. So that's a masterclass lesson all by itself. There's so many times you put a prompter in ChatGPT, you get the information, and you do nothing with the information. Somebody's getting healed right now. Somebody's getting blessed right now, because we put our emotions got involved and we just stop right there. We never deliver on what we said we're going to do. But in my head, my word was action over emotion, which means no matter how I was feeling at the moment, I was going to deliver on what I said I was going to deliver. And that's exactly what I did when it comes to delivering my book, to get it out there in the world. And so in my head, that's my thought process. Action over emotion. I know I've said like 10,000 times, but I want to beat a dead horse. Right here. Action over emotions. So oh my goodness. So May 2nd drop. It's midnight. And the first thing I did, I ran to my computer till that May 2nd officially got here. It's midnight, May 2nd. It dropped. And I'm like, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I kept nodding to my husband, like, it's May 2nd. I can't sleep. So prior to May 1st, I set up some ads. I set up some ads to run for me. Because my goal, I put away $1,000 to run ads, right? So again, that was my backup plan for $1,000. I was willing to do what I was needed to do to get the sale that I needed to get. So I ran some traffic ads for $1,000. Now, that was the amount that I put away to run these ads. So I set up some traffic ads to run to Amazon to get my book sales. But when I set up those traffic ads to run to Amazon, the traffic ads started running, right? Of course, it went into what we call this learn stage. If you run ads, you know exactly what I mean. I'm like, oh, Lord, it's a learn stage. And the learn stage, pretty much when it comes to ads, it's just optimizing so Meta can learn who they're trying to show your ads to. But that may take some time. You don't know when it may come out of the learn stage. And if you can recall, when you're aiming for best-selling author, you have 24 hours to hit it. So time is not on my side when it comes to this learn stage. So May 2nd is here, and the emails are going out. The ads are running. My organic marketed post is going out, and we're just pushing. I want you to understand this. Emails are going out. Organic marketing is going out, and my post is already set up. Everything that is happening, none of it is happening with physically me. I want you to understand this. If you fail to plan, you will not be successful. All of these things that I'm telling you were already pre-planned. That was the secret of my success. So the day when we May 2nd, when it hits and my emails are going out, all of that was already pre-planned out. My ads was already set up, pre-planned out. So I had the time, the rest of the time, to plan for my event that night. I had the time to plan for my marketing that night, to talk with my assistant, talk with my funnel assistant, Larice. I had the time to plan up my party event and for get the decorations and stuff ready for our book release. So that's what a real business is. Like, I was not sending out emails to my email list. That was already pre-planned out ahead of time. That is so important to note, because so many of us are, if I was doing that, trying to send out emails at the same time, which most people do manually, and you're wondering why your sales are not coming in, because you're not planning for the money. Planning for the money. You have to plan for the money. And so many of us are not planning for the money. We're not seeing why we are not making money, because we're not planning for it. So I had free time. Well, I would say I had free time, but my anxiety was on high. But really, reality is I had free time to talk with my family, and they're asking me like, hey, how's the sales looking? And I'm panicking. And I have a mastermind. Shout out to my mastermind, Ashley's mastermind. How to Win with Paid Ads, Marketing Matters Mastermind. I am so grateful for them, because they were giving me some love. Again, this is what ChatGPT cannot do. My mastermind, Virtual Selling Freedom Academy. Shout out to they were showing me some love as well. So I had these amazing mastermind. My mastermind, her mastermind is pouring into me and, showing some love to me, grabbing their books as well. So love was coming from there as well, because you need encouragement when you're jumping into something that you've never done before. So they were pouring into me and pouring into love to me. And when my husband and I was preparing to go deliver the decoration to the book event, the book sign-in event, to the restaurant, because that's where we're hosting an Italian restaurant. Beautiful. Shout out to Vine and Olive. Beautiful restaurant. Shout out in our local area. Shout out to them. They host our event as well. Beautiful Italian restaurant. And Michaela was like, hey, look at this. You're creeping up. So I went as soon as she said that, I grabbed my phone. I grabbed my laptop to see where I am. Like, where am I ranking? So I was number one strategy and competition top release. Right? So top release. And as grateful as I am, like, okay, but it's not bestseller, because I'm just overly competitive. And I just who I am. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Then I'm like, number one top release. And again, it's just the competitive nature of me. So as things are coming along, people are buying the books, and it's not like I'm seeing the sales coming in. Like, it's not like I get a notification. It's on Amazon. I don't get a notification. And Amazon updates their bestseller list like every hour, from what I was told. Again, that's not my area of expertise, but from what I was told, the update the notification. So as we got to the evening portion, and I'm heading into my book release, I'm at number one in strategic and competition as a bestseller. And I'm excited about it, but not over the top. All right. Because I'm like, and I'm sitting at number 2 for business seller, number 2 in business insurance. Now, let me kind of just take my take on this. To each his own. I'm the type of person that if my book, The Challenge Code, is teaching you how to use your voice as a strategy to monetize your influence, to speak to sell, how to use challenge to convert your business. If I'm going to be teaching you about driving traffic and marketing, I want to be number 1 in that spot. I'm not cliche. I like the receipts. What I'm teaching. So if I'm teaching it, the book need to be in it because the strategy of how I did it is in the book. So it just makes sense. It's just what it is. It's what it is. So then when I found I was number one, I was excited. As a matter of fact, you saw there's somewhere there is on Instagram, you will see me like, oh my God, screaming because I found I was number one. And I was happy about that. So when we had the event, we had a release event, the book release, it was really good. Oh my gosh. Thank you to everyone that came to my book release, my book signing, my book celebration, my first book. It was amazing. Right towards the end, I asked my son, I said, Dylan, grab my laptop. Because throughout this whole time, let's reverse go back to my why of why I'm doing it, about leaving a legacy for my son. So he would be like, Mom, how much books have you sold? He would constantly ask me. And every time, like, he would constantly ask me, where are you at? I would be like, oh, I'm at number 10. Oh, I'm at number 6. And those are good. Let's be just very, very clear. Those are good numbers to be at. So if you're number 6 in Bestselling Author, number 5, kudos to you. Those are, because it's hard as heck, okay? So those are very good numbers. And I was like, I'm at number 6. I'm at number 10. Very good. Don't knock the hustle. I am proud of anyone that's at those numbers. This is just an overachieving Sherry, okay? This is just an overachieving Sherry. So then one last time I said, Dylan, grab Mommy's MacBook so I can look and see where I am, where I'm ranked at. And he grabbed my MacBook, and I was like, nervous as heck to go look. So when I went to go look, I saw web marketing. I'm like, I'm number 1. So I refreshed the page 3 times to see if I'm number 1. This is like the end of the night. And I'm like, oh, I'm number 1. So I said, okay, don't get too excited yet. So let me go look at the next category, which is business and insurance. I'm number 1 in business insurance. And I was already number 1 in strategic competition, which is about strategy and competition. And I'm number 1 there too. So I just let out this huge scream, and literally Bailey, shout out to her, Bailey, she literally captured it on camera because my ads are running around here like crazy. This is like authentic me, just let out this, oh my gosh, forget I'm in a restaurant. Let out this big scream because I could not believe not only am I a 3-time best-selling author for my first book, but number 1 in all 3 categories. I was like, oh my God. Because I went from number 10 to number 6 to number 1. So I was like, God, is this you? Because I owe everything to God. This is not me. This is Him. All glory and honor to God. You hear me? Because I did it without a big audience. I did it without a big team. I did it with a small following. I did it with a small email list. I literally, I just like, this is all God. And life isn't about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. And that's the lesson I learned here. You can either make excuses or you can make results. And I chose to make results. And doing it and watching my son see the results, it just took my breath away. And I'm just so grateful, and I'm so thankful. Michaela, I'm so thankful to you. And whenever you listen to this podcast, she's going to be on here. We're going to have a podcast together, just kind of talk about that. And this is a book that people told me that, oh, I would never be able to write a book, and because I'm from another country and my grammar is different. And it's just, and I'm not just writing a book. I'm number 1 in those categories. I'm like, girl, you a damn good marketer. Like, it's just so much things that was against me doing it. And I'm about to tear up right now watching me do it in front of my son. And he was speechless. And I'm just, and let me just kind of you have to get the book. You have to go to thechallengecode.com to get a book. It's inside the show notes. Um, because I want to say thank you to Bethania and her sister in heaven. If you read the book, you know the story in the book. Get the book to know what I'm talking about. And I want to say thank you to her because it was her situation, her story that pushed me to want to write this book for my own son. And maybe if her situation and me getting sick did not happen, that book probably would not have came. And so I just want to say thank you to her and her family. And watching my son, seeing his mother hit bestseller, and watching him the whole weekend, he's like, Mom, where are you at? Like, and the whole time from May 2nd, when he's like, where are you at, Mommy? Where are you at? And every time I would like, oh, it's coming. I'm at number 10, number 6. And so when I saw that and he was there to see it for himself, like physically see it for himself, I just taught my son that anything is possible. I just taught my son that if I can do it, he can do it too. And I also taught you, I taught you that whatever odds or whatever thing you wanted to see, whatever thing you were saying of why you can't do it, I just got rid of that for you. I just got rid of, oh, I don't have the money. The ads that I ran, I was supposed to run $1,000 in ads. After I hit bestseller, I only needed to run $300. So I was at $300 when I cut my ads off because I already had made bestseller, so I just cut it off. So all the other stuff that I did was organically. So we end up selling over 120 plus books. Almost, because when I was done, I was like, I think it's 140, but it's 120 plus books because they added the next day. So the numbers were a little bit off, but it's around 120 plus books. I want to safely say that. In 24 hours. With my little audience, with not enough people, not a big team and all that stuff. I'm telling you that because there's nothing special about me that you can't do yourself. I want you to hear me clearly. There's nothing special about me. I'm just a vessel that God used every day to speak to you, that you can become peaceful, powerful, and plentiful. As long as you know how to take actions over emotions. As long as you know that the lessons that I want you to take away from this is you're playing way too small. You're playing way too safe. Because for me, I was playing it way too safe. I don't know if I can get 5 people to buy. That was me. That's what I was saying. I don't know if I can get 5 people to buy. And people are still buying. From that day, from May 2nd till this day, I have sold a book every single day since May 2nd. Hear me clearly. From May 2nd, I am still selling a book. Day before yesterday, I sold 5 books. The people at the mail, because some people buy a hardcover, some people like the ebook, doesn't matter. But I've been at the mailbox shipping out books to people. Because inside of that book is not just the strategy. It's a book that filled with transformation of how I used one of the most powerful things that God has given me and gave you, which is your voice. Of how to strategically, psychologically use your voice. Now, let me say this of what I mean by that. I was in church yesterday, and there's a lady at my church that came for the first time. And when she came to church, she wanted to be baptized. She wanted her 9-year-old daughter to be baptized. But her 9-year-old daughter is shy. She is super shy. So I work the Welcome Center. I'm always volunteering at my church at Welcome Center. So I turned to someone and I said, hey, this lady, her daughter want to be baptized, but her daughter is shy and she does not want to be baptized in front of all these people. And I asked her who's more the person because she's more, she know more about the church than me because she also worked at the church. I volunteered. She actually worked there. So she would know more about it. And when she said, oh, no, we only the only way to do this is to have baptism on Sunday. So the mom kind of take offense to what she says, because she's like, oh, my 9-year-old is not going to do that. And she literally, I gave her a gift for being a welcome person there, and she gave me the gift back. And she says, oh, no, thank you for your gift. Your church is wonderful, but have a good day. And it hurt my heart, because I feel like we lost a soul because the words of what we said got misinterpreted the wrong way. And we lost a 9-year-old soul in that moment, just in that moment, because we did not know the effective word of how to communicate to this woman. And not just a 9-year-old, but the mom, the dad, and the other 2 kids that's with her. This is how important it is for us to know how to use our words so we don't lose souls that God has called us to attract souls. I have been to another church, and I'm walking in with my son, and my son have a sippy cup, non-spill sippy cup. And the person in the front says, hey, I'm walking into church. You can't come in with that cup. So I take it as a black woman with a child, with a white older woman, tell me I can't come into that predominantly white church. And I never came back. I was like, turn my stuff around. And I walk out the church. Now, I called one of my girlfriends. And I said, I'm not coming back to that church, because that woman saw me with my son. I'm already struggling as a single mom to get to church. And you're telling me my son cannot bring that cup, and that's the only cup that keeps him calm. And my girlfriend called the pastor of that church at that time. And the pastor called me. I was at work. I was in law enforcement at the time. And he says, we don't do that. Her words of what she said to you was, we don't do that. Words are breaking up relationships because we have not learned or been taught how to deliver words in an effective manner that touch and penetrate people's souls, that move the masses. So when I tell you that the challenge code is not just about strategies, not just about system, it's about transformation. It's about speaking to people's souls so they can be transformed for the greater good. I had to write that book. Those are just 2 examples of how just saying the right words could have transformed the situation. There are words right now that you are saying that are repelling your ideal client, and you don't know it. There are words right now that your ideal client is sitting right in front of you, but because your delivery is not delivering in an effective manner, that you're not touching them. And we want to change that for you. What if this book right here, this book that could be the one book that transforms your entire life? What if the cost of this book could be the one book that transforms your life and your family and your business? Because it teaches you how to move the masses. It teaches you how to use your voice as a strategy. So, again, it's no longer playing it safe or no longer playing it small. You cannot be transformed if you're playing it safe or if you're playing it small. And that's my principle. That's my takeaway. And I hope you get that too. Thank you again for everyone that made it possible with this, my first book. My job was to teach you how to use something that's free, which is your voice, to create freedom. It's your girl, Sherry Summer Bell, and I cannot wait to see you in our next episode. Be blessed.